Quatraineous Dailies, one quatrain, rhyming or not, per day, then arrange them in sequences other than that in which they were written. Inscribe formulae of fortitude upon the frosty window, for the battlements of joy are tall this morning. Prodded by light did I arise to seek another place to dwell, a place alive with friendly eyes, and none cry out, alas, farewell. A starling with a marking bright, I watch it where it comes to rest. I watch it for an hour, relaxed, unhurriedly, the starling in the bright red vest. 'Twill we too long among us both, wading in the now unyielding depths, where all the things we love are worthless to us alone. In the evenings I take a short walk to the mullock heaps and stand among the pampas grass, surveying the dilemma. I write the diaries of a sponge diver sorting through the coral reefs, dreaming of a hot dinner under 2,000 feet of water. Our town is a brown town, as brown as a bog rabbit's liver, and when I think how brown's our town, I get the brown town shiver. The moon in a loincloth jiggers all my plans to be looking elsewhere exactly at that moment. Settling down at a typewriter, I eventually invented a sallow waif who thought he was 6'3". Was that you, Hafiz? The glib yonder of our yesteryear might yet haunt our unhappy reflections, but I know that the wonder of that then is not overtaken by any other now. Trains in the late night, the shell of a fly mummified in a spider's web. Throw twigs of rue upon the sleeping fire. Bring wine for the pauper king in his rags. There were, as well, red peppers, green peppers, black peppers, white peppers, speckled peppers, hot peppers, cool peppers, true peppers and blue peppers. Every species of escapism. Since the grapes can be persuaded to plumpen into round shapes, I might be coaxed into getting up and installing the new sundial. This bitter land of Asia pretends it lives in southern England, and complains of the hot sun, and complains of the dirty rain. Unconvinced and somewhat reluctant, some man made a pact with the earth to take up residence in flesh and bone, and spend his days in toil and dearth. Fragmented stupidities that have not the slightest cohesion enter through every window, every crack, while strangers take our daughters. Reading engages the mind in a recursive pleasure that comes from forgetting the snares of time. Large circular potholes are cut into the dusty red brickwork still scarred by ivy suckers 200 miles from the sea. You can become a picking pigeon or a cautious cat claw in the night. I was a wolf then, under the bridge. My ears were sharp with fight or flight. Perhaps it insults the one who painted all the petals scarlet red, but all I see is a young woman making a mess of her lipstick. Breakfast is a lonely affair, but the eggs are from a happy chicken whose rooster friend thinks about her every minute of the day. I write my Quatraineous Dailies about my 4-line daily stuff, but for even 5-lined eventualities, 4 lines is quite enough. My son tells me a story that, if it wasn't true, couldn't be invented. It involves a light plane, a shotgun, and the Heimlich manoeuvre. O mother of sunshine, how sunny days we speak. The thin horizon busted up the cloud wells, and it's blue skies every daytime of the week. He is not one of your petty gods, So do not make a fool of yourself, banging your forehead on the floor and saying he belongs to you. Between fiddlesticks and incongruous things, 8 trillion things could happen meanwhile. You might fly away on wing for wings. You might surprise me with a smile. The rot goes to the core of the tree. The cambium is bitter with the habit of thirst. There are no leaves of any consequence. The roots can only find salt. And do not linger on burning bridges, or look back at sinking cities, nor sprinkle rhymes in untidy night times, and don't share secrets with the wide-eyed moon. People invariably comment on the lower half of a musk-print mannequin supporting suspicious cacti that hide the buckle in the white veranda. Turning the soil, I can smell the sea. Where is my passport? Why am I still standing on the shore, watching the dead horizon? The eclipse of our darlings, and the cruel April, and the crypt of fantasy, pleasure's broken fingers. But one day, jogging on, he had an apocalypse of railway lines in his head, and a nightmare of diminishing perspective, and stood up and said so, and people called him mad. 5 times the adoration of milk, my mind is a moonglow of cream, by all the sacred cows of Varanasi, a dream and a dream and a dream. Is he dead too? And it is now as if he was never there and we never laughed on empty Sundays about his history of outrageous indiscretions. I would be an oracle to the dreamer's tongue, but latent and anonymous, hidden and respected like a scorpion. Married, divorced, single, separated, de facto, celibate, the lot. This present volume represents the author's most loose-lidded and accessible work to date. The silver-green filing cabinet without a key sat mysterious under the poster of the Taj Mahal. I thought I saw you this morning, Hafiz, staggering at a lamp post and calling out to passers-by to follow you into delirium. Tomorrow may not include me, in which case, being practical, there needs to be enough room in today for the one-offs and the magical. Play me the wet way, Susio, and let us frolic freely. Do you think we'll fall in love? Maybe. Not quite, but nearly. One mystery after another. There are things about snails that no decent man should ever have to consider. I explained to the sceptical western wind what a rare and precious thing I seek, rummaging in the overgrowth to find a peony as soft as soft as soft as a cheek. Were not the dark-eyed penstemons lurking, the morning's ordinary glare might have reduced me to a self-inflicted lassitude full of cold memories. It's doom-scrolling Tuesday. It looks like the markets have crashed, but they crashed last Tuesday too. Every Tuesday our dreams are dashed. I kept the song of a nightingale in a sailor's trunk, but you thought I was hiding the last words of a man who murdered children. The tilted earth smells new. The bleaching sun is still restrained. The world loves turning into spring and goes about it unexplained. Ancient seabeds had twisted with preposterous reasoning, and now man had come to teach the land a lesson. The irksome urchin that befuddles all my hours pretends to go about as an upright man, but he cannot tell the weeds from flowers, or a sycophant from a fan. I didn't believe it could be done, but then what do I know in this steady stream of less than conscious thoughts idling in the wrong lane, making loose suggestions to a verb or two? I do not seek what other men have sought, not a mansion, not a mountain, not a bride, but I would have that single thought that tears the veil of nothingness aside. You set a bad example, Hafiz. You can drink down the 7 seas, but still come into my shop as sober as a judge. And not live on memories anymore, and not repeat regrettable tirades, and not distinguish anymore between the roses and the nightshades. Memorabilia in a cardboard box. How dare you call it clutter? I've carried it around for 20 years, never looked in it once. The little girl beside me said, "Do you see the angel in the lilac tree?" But her eyes, her lilac eyes, were seeing things mine couldn't see. Frosty Festerhead grabbed our golden and throttled on her throat until she dug down under, but her hair of lustre sprung up as a Dutch levee of wafting daffies, golden trumpets from her grave. Sailboats slurp up the sea foam in the dreary harbour's last thoroughfare, while around the edges of your beanie, wind whips your yellow hair. Thawing him back to rapid pinkiness, they informed him of his legal fees, and he plummeted into obscurity again, a pile of dockets wedged beneath the microwave. Before the dawn was splashed with red, and before the rose was drenched in dew, a bird came, looked around, then fled, and refused to sing to me and you. Document fever set in. It was recorded as a prophecy of freak storms, lest they ruin the harvest bitter, lest they live forever in regret. When we reach the tavern of forgetfulness, and we empty all the cups, remember what I told you. I don't have a penny to my name. The drivel of poets was first to go, then the drivel of thrift and beautiful things, then the drivel of the lonesome alternative, staunchly defending the night. Blend into me, says her skin. Toggle with me, stare her eyes. Rejoice along, sings her tongue. Her tongue, it tells no lies. A cat, or the filthy marsupial living in the roof, has sprayed in the corner near the towels. The stinking, good-for-nothing brown percolator misbehaves again. "Oh yes," she said indeedy. "Right on, indeedy-o." But although she said indeedy, what she meant was no. As if the lilacs were a burgundy blue and daffodils were a cornflake green, as if the night time smoked the daytime in a pipe but never cleaned. Scientific minds are rigorously trivial, but wear an undergarment of the most appalling sentimental slop, remember. We are happy now, Hafiz. We reached the bottom of the barrel, but the dregs are thick and will last till harvest time. War mangles another generation who should have been lovers and men, and not just names crossed out with the swipe of a silent pen. Sometimes I can hear the call to prayer all the way from the little mosque in Java, where the blind boy sat twiddling with the tassels on his prayer mat. With the dog body gravy tune playing from the box, the dilly-dally dancers were dancing off their socks. The colour of the damp eve could stain the sky free of pink fringes, if not for the pink lily heads yelling at the wall. Something enormous got in the way, something rigorous and inexorable, dashed hopes of an early tide. No venture of imagination can alter years. As I step and stray each day and hear the crickets in the lolling grass, I am largely unperturbed, I'd say, by things that change and pass. It is Sunday again, the residual Sabbath. All the churches are empty, the coffee shops are shut, and there will be lawnmowers. And not dawdle into perilous terrain, and not curse the sunshine anymore, nor the cold fingers of the midwife, nor the stranger at the door. Give it up, ye merry objects that occupy the noontide bright, and I shall go a-wandering and find the treasures of the night. Assemblies of dead people keep my house in disarray. They are not untidy in themselves, but the dead, by definition, overstay. I learned to love the things I loved, just for themselves and for me, and they are in themselves, and I am, and we rejoice in the verb to be.